In this case, you get to sample them all. It's 6 red wines. If you're tasting 3 wines instead, in this case you will taste wine number 2. You can pick either one of wine number 3 or wine number 4, and then this is the same wine but different wine here. And then wine number 5, which is our most famous one. This is our pride and joy. This black label, this has got a nickname on his label. It's called Sor Aldo. So like Signor Aldo, Sir Aldo in dialect. Aldo was that person I mentioned before. This is a bottle that was dedicated to his memory. So, this is all wines that we make with grapes that we grow. We're not buying nor selling any kind of grape. We're pretty jealous of them actually. And these are all organic wines today. Everything we produce is biological. And they come, all our vineyards, they're all around the town of Montepulciano. They are in 3 different spots, 3 different locations. And so today you'll get to sample a different style of Sangiovese from each one of these 3 different places. Plus an intruder. This is one of the so-called super Tuscans. So it's a wine that in this case, this is made without Sangiovese. Actually, I want to show you on a map, because here I have a beautiful map of the municipality of the town. See all these little squares? These are all the vineyards where you can make a Vino Nobile. Vino Nobile di Montepulciano is our VOCG, and like every VOCG, there is actual laws to follow to make it. And one of these laws is saying that if you want to make this wine, your vineyard has to be one of those. It's not big, because from one point to another, this is like 15, 16 kilometers. So quite small actually. Ghosts. Right now we are here. The town itself is here in the middle. As for us, we've got vineyards, is 3 in the southern part. We've got this 4 in the central east part, and 2 small vineyards in the northern side. So it's 3 different locations for 3 different styles of Sangiovese. And lock the door. Allora, first 2 wines. They come from the central east part of the town, where the soil is very rich in sand and in lime. So this sandy soil, this is one that has got a very low pH, and this low pH translates in a very good freshness.
It's more acidic.
More acidity, exactly. It's a soil that's very suited for this reason to make young wines. While by young, I mean wines that are meant to be consumed when they're still young. Because with time, they're gonna lose this beautiful freshness, this juiciness, which is their purpose. And that's when we make the first 2 wines. Chianti will be the first one, and then Il Vignone, which is our super Tuscan, will be the second one. They're both 2020 vintages. Chianti, this is a blend of 80% Sangiovese with 10% Merlot and 10% Cabernet Sauvignon. Il Vignone, this is made without Sangiovese, 50% Merlot, 50% Cabernet. It's a Bordeaux blend, so and like every Bordeaux blends, every year these percentages, they are slightly different. And we pick the percentage of Merlot and Cabernet by looking at the wine year. These 2 are very easy drinkers. They don't have a lot of structure, they're quite fruity, they're very well balanced, the finish is very smooth, not a lot of tannins, so they're very drinkable, and overall I like to think of these 2 as daily wines. While with these other 4 wines, things get more serious. They're all 100% Sangiovese. Vino Nobile, it's what we're mostly well known for. We have 2 labels of Vino Nobile. White, it's our classic. And black, Sor Aldo, this is our selection of Vino Nobile. 100% Sangiovese, both of them. But they are different wine years, because this white label, we got 2 wine years to let you sample today. 2020 was a dry year. A year that made wines that are a little bit more mature. This is true not just for these 2 bottles, for Sangiovese in Toscana in general. These wines, they tend to be more mature, more well-rounded, they're softer, even in the tannins, if compared to 2021, which was a wet year. It rained much more. So these wines, they tend to have a bit more intensity and a bit more finesse, in my opinion. While Soraldo, this is also a 2020 bottle. Aging is different. 18 months in barrels and 18 months in bottles, so 36 months of age. This black label did 24 plus 24, 48 months of aging before it started to sell it. But the main difference between these two, it's not made by the year or by how much time they spend in the barrels, but mostly by the place where they're coming from. White label, it's in the southern side. Black label is 9 kilometers north. It's only 9 kilometers, but this one in the south, first off, this is the coldest side of the town. This is getting all the winds from the Apennine Mountains, which are cold ones. The other vineyard is at the top of a hill, so it's getting winds from everywhere, and it's constantly under the sun, so it's much warmer there. Plus, this vineyard in the south, this is exactly under a place that is called Pietra del Diavolo, so the Devil's Rock. Because this one, and also Montepulciano, back in the days, they were craters of old volcanoes. This is a volcanic soil. There's no sand here. There's a lot of these volcanic rocks. There's clay, plus the cold temperature we have in the vineyard. These are the ingredients that are making the elegance of this liquor. This is a wine that really shines for its finesse and for its drinkability, once again. Maybe it doesn't have the same juiciness of the first two, not the same fruit. This is more on the floral side, but, as I mentioned, with a lot more elegance and a lot more perfumes as well. North Montepulciano instead, this is where we trade some elegance for some muscles. Because this is a much bigger and bolder version of Sangiovese. These grapes, they come from our, let's call it our best vineyard, which is in the northern part, and it's got a very interesting soil structure. If you see here, the land is grey in color, if you can see it. This is a very chalky soil with a lot of limestone, and plus there is a huge layer of seashells inside. These shells are there because millions of years ago we were under the ocean. Then when the hills emerged from the ocean, that's why we still find the shells. And as you can imagine, so fossils, limestone, chalk, this is not exactly a very easy soil for plants. Every plant is having a hard time to find here water and nutrients with their roots. So if compared to other zones, other vineyards, this is the same plant, it's the same Sangiovese. But this Sangiovese gives us less production. We're talking 4.5 tons of grapes per hectare versus 6.5 versus 8. This is smaller clusters, smaller grapes. The skin of these grapes is much thicker. It's almost triple the amount if compared to the skins of the other Sangiovese, with a very different concentration of sugar, tannins, polyphenols, terpenes in the skins. So what's the difference between these two? This Soraldo, this will be more concentrated in texture, in flavors, in aromas. It's also slightly more tannic, so this is for sure a more complex version of Sangiovese. And then, last wine. This is our jewel right here. We consider it our family reserve, and 100% Sangiovese again. It's a wine that we don't make every year. In the last 7 years, we made it twice. Very small batch. Less than 2,000 bottles in 2019, which is the wine year that you'll get to sample today. This is an extremely small vineyard, which is exactly in front of the vineyard of Soraldo. Same soil, same shells, but in between these two there is a forest. So for the most part of the day, these grapes are under the shadow of the trees, while these ones are constantly under the sun. So this means a slightly lower temperature, with a slightly higher humidity. Ciao.
Ciao.
And in 2019, Nicolo, our winemaker, he had a great idea, in my opinion, and his idea was to enhance the aromatic difference between these two vineyards by harvesting these grapes at night. They were picked at 1 a.m. when the temperature was even colder. He also waited for the full moon because that helps to reach the right balsamic point, the right concentration of polyphenols. And then we needed to be quick. Bring these grapes in half an hour to the winery. They had to be pressed when the temperature was still cold. So this way the extraction was completely different. And they end up making wine that is quite different if compared to Syrah, with only 12 months in the barrels. Because otherwise it would have been overcooked. This was a dedicated Sangiovese, it would have tasted just like a barrel. 2019 though, so this means that right now we are at 40 plus months of bottle age. This is a much more intense version of Sangiovese with an extremely long finish at the end. Okay?
Got it.
I have a question.
Sure.